There's a woman in Pakistan. I'll show you the video. She came in from America. Basically, she got catfished by some Pakistani kid. She's like 40. This guy's like 18 or 19. She was showing him fake pictures of herself, like as a blonde white girl. She's like a black woman, and
She's from Pakistan?
no, she's from Michigan, Detroit.
Oh, that makes
And
sense.
she showed up in Pakistan. She started, wreaking a little bit of havoc. And I gotta say though, I'll show you the video.
How do you wreak havoc in
Let
Pakistan?
me show you.
It'd be worse than the.
I gotta
what's going
say though,
on?
they treated her nicer than I would have expected them to.
I mean, did she cover up her head and shit? Like,
It's the funniest thing. It's insane.
as long as she's got the hijab on, I think she's good.
I'm not talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every week. You hear me? I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID. I'm getting it. Do y'all agree? Mind your business. What? Talk.
She just starts making demands.
Oh my god.
I'm getting one. Do you have one?
She like, give me a goat too.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. Listen. I don't live here. I'm chilling.
Like, what?
It's saying he talked too much. That's it.
How has she not been stoned?
I don't. That's what.
Listen. You talk too much. It's not. Come here. Please come here. Listen. Please sit down. Be quiet. I'm not sitting down. My plan is to reconstruct this whole country, okay?
What the fuck?
She comes into the country and starts making demands.
100K or more. I need 20K by this week. Okay? In my pockets. In cash. Okay? That's a demand to the government. The government is going to fix up these buildings, fix up the streets, and clean up these streets. It's ridiculous out here. I do not like it. Okay? I would love for you guys to please understand that Pakistan is in need of new buses, new cabs, new cars.
All right, so you get the
Okay,
idea.
so she wants to run for president in Pakistan.
Well, she showed up in Pakistan because she was catfished by some teenager, and she all of a sudden starts making demands. I don't know how it got the
Did she
attention.
meet the teenager?
No, but she started camping outside of his house. The family fled with him.
What the
They
fuck?
fled, and she was in Pakistan making demands. I got to say though, one
Did
thing
they
is,
interview the kid?
no, I would not have expected her to have been treated so well. I'm shocked
I'm
that she wasn't
surprised
killed,
she hasn't been stoned
stoned,
burned
or
on a
murdered.
stake or
I
something.
guess
Like,
we all judge maybe parts of the Middle East or parts around the
I mean,
world
they
that
do
aren't
that.
America.
They do that stuff for real.
Maybe not in Pakistan. Maybe we're wrong.
Oh, maybe it's Saudi Arabia. I don't know. One of the
It's definitely Saudi Arabia, but
That's
I guess it's not
Pakistani countries,
Pakistan.
right?
But no. And then she took a flight though. She's like, I'm coming home, but I'm stopping in Dubai first. And her son came out
I mean,
though and
Dubai
said,
is safe.
I don't think Dubai is safe.
No, Dubai is safe.
No,
All the rich areas. are
Dubai
safe.
is not safe.
Yeah, it is.
Dubai is not safe.
Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Those are the safe parts.
No, they're not. They're
Yeah,
shown
those
on
are
the internet
rich.
as safe. But
No, I mean, like I was just reading it like
yeah,
about the other day.
for men, it's safe.
The whole world's safe for men.
Okay, two, it's like it's not. It's safe from crime and petty crime, yeah, but it's not like a
What else? I mean,
They have
you're not gonna get your head cut off if you go there.
Yeah, they have literal slaves. And if you're a woman acting like that, you might get your head cut off. So no, not a good idea.
So she just thinks she's gonna. I mean, it's like hilarious. It's like a kind of like a hood black woman just walking in.
She shows up in Pakistan of all places. It's really obscure and weird.
She kind of walks in and is like, says, "I'm gonna fix up this place." But what makes her think?
Her kids came out and said, yes, our mom is bipolar.
Okay, that makes sense.
And,
That makes sense.
That's what happens,
But
I guess.
why? I was gonna say, what makes her think that anyone's gonna just hand her money? But
she's bipolar.
She's nuts.
She's out of her mind. I could have told you that without the son saying it
That's
because
so-
it's insane.
Like, what, lady?
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. But if you're not on TikTok, you don't have TikTok. You don't
Yeah,
ever see these funny
I never seen any of this stuff.
like things. But it's like, that was insane. In other news,
This reminds me of the what was it, that Taliban luxury hotel?
oh well, yeah. I mean, the Taliban's like a fully they're a complete
They're not just terrorists.
the
anymore.
Taliban is no longer terrorists. They are like the governing body of, I think it's Afghanistan, but or Iraq. I think it's Afghanistan.
I just want to Google exactly like what comes up. Oh,
They literally just banned women from speaking from gathering in groups of two. So like they're just
I
the
guess
worst
that's
oppressors.
that's how they eliminate lesbians.
No. They are just
They hate all that stuff.
they just like they're the worst.
So I'm just gonna Google. And I have another thing I heard on the news that's really funny with something Donald Trump changed. Taliban is a Afghan political and militant movement with ideology of whatever the fuck, blah blah blah. It doesn't say terrorist group, at least not anymore.
It's crazy because they are a terrorist group, but also on the same hand, the U.S. government in Iraq and Afghanistan could be considered a terrorist group.
I mean,
we're the ones who just showed up to start killing people.
We just kind of show up and just force Americanism on everyone.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they want to abuse their women, and if that's the case, then why should we stop them?
They're women. Let them do what they want with them.
They're people. They gotta fight for it.
And
It's completely wrong. It's injustice, but it's like
an off topic. I heard
we left them and they just let it fall.
Did you hear where Donald Trump? He changed the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah,
it's called the Gulf of America now.
I know it's called the Gulf
What
of
the
America.
fuck?
You didn't know about this? Did we ever speak of this?
I heard it on the news and I googled it.
No,
and
on Google Map. Yeah.
Gulf of America.
It's funny because they had the White House press secretary meeting, and the press
I like
secretary
the name Gulf of Mexico.
They said, "Well, I know it sounds exotic.
Sounds
Gulf of America sounds like something in Michigan." Okay.
Gulf of imagine Gulf of America is like the little watering hole by the end of like a sewage plant. But
Gulf of America is tropical and exotic. And they asked the White House press secretary, they're like, "Well, what the Associated Press referred to it as the Gulf of Mexico," and they banned them because they believe in facts.
I mean, now he technically changed it.
I know, but like I feel like you don't just get to change facts.
It's
like
so
that.
stupid. It's like you can't go and change. It's almost like some like civ head, like
It's like an episode of South Park.
It's like it's like an episode of South Park. Yeah. It's almost like
Rainbow Land.
It's like if some guy who had like the American flag tattooed on his ass, and was just like America everything, and thought, "Oh wait, this is the moon. No, we're calling that America too." Like. It's
seriously,
insane.
If you
America can't claim the whole world.
If you think that's crazy, you're gonna love this. A Republican congressman put forward a bill to rename Greenland, once acquired, to Red, White, and Blue Land.
That's nuts.
That's fucking retarded.
Okay, look, there are other countries out there. We're not the only one.
Red, White, and Blue Land. Why don't I want Greenland? And everyone's like, "Oh, let's go to Greenland." Greenland looks cold and miserable.
Greenland.
We live in New York and it's freezing here. Yeah, of course. But then you get people like, "Yeah, I'd take a vacation there. I might move there." No, you wouldn't. No, move to Alaska if you want to.
Nobody vacations to Greenland.
Greenland.
It's freezing. It's cold.
It's also ironic how we're offering citizenship to all their citizens and people there.
Like they want it.
Like, one, they want it, but two, weren't we being America first to keep these people out of our country who are illegal immigrants? But now we're going to annex a bunch of new countries. I
guess it's okay if they're legal. If we approve them, you can have as many as you want.
And in kind of in line with all that, it is not a good time in America to be a bald white man. Thank you very much, Elon Musk. You saw the whole thing that he did this, right? The Hitler thing.
I didn't see that, but I saw the thing with his kid telling Donald Trump to shush.
Yeah, well, no, first off, so the Hitler thing, I mean, it's just a nightmare kind
of. I literally heard it. He's like, "I want you to shush your mouth."
Well, yeah, but Hitler's Elon Musk is like, he went and did like the Hail Hitler salute at a press conference, and then everybody says, "Oh, everyone's making excuses for him." Well, he's getting involved in German politics. I'll just say it. I think the guy's like a Nazi. It doesn't make any sense why the world's smartest man would be out there doing I
think he's like
Hail Hitler salutes, and he's involved in German politics, and he's supporting a far right group there. So he did what he did, knowing it embodies and enables a certain group of people, and the others will make excuses for him.
I mean, the people who try to excuse it, why can't they just say, "All right, let's just own it." Yeah, we love him, but we don't know what the hell he was doing.
We didn't know what the fuck that was.
Why did he do that?
It's clear as day.
Instead of defending it, like, no, he was really trying to do the dab instead, and he forgot the left arm. Like, no.
Look, if he's the smartest man in the world, he can be held accountable for anti-Semitic shit that he does.
And I'm sure I know he is like technically a genius, but like
I don't think he's the smartest man in the world, though.
I know he's smart.
But he's one of the guys who thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
When you refer to him as the smartest man in the world, like you just sound like a sycophant little worshiper. Like
you sound like a pussy boy.
Yeah, you sound like a pussy boy. Like
smartest man in the world. Elon's here to save us. Elon's not here to save you.
Like, no, come on, he doesn't care about you. Like,
to be completely
personally, I mean, I'm not a hater, but I'm not a fan either. I just think.
I went from an Elon didn't care at all to like I'm pretty much a hater now. The guy's a problem for so many ways.
Just indifferent. My only gripe, I think his cars are lame. It's the only thing his cars are boring. They're soulless.
Yeah.
That's the only opinion I have.
I don't like him either. Apparently in China, his cars are...
I mean, they're like the best-selling cars now. They're just boring to me. I don't care if it's as fast as a
Well,
Ferrari,
apparently in China, though, they are like the boring car. The way we look at Priuses.
They're becoming that here.
They are boring.
They're kind of lame. It's like you buy one when you've got a
They're
little bit of
tasteless.
money
They're
and no
they're
taste.
tasteless.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the first thing someone. I don't get the fanboys of them who love Teslas.
They only care because it's Elon Musk. If it was any other guy in charge, they wouldn't give a shit. They don't even care who the company is named after. Like the Tesla coils, Nikola Tesla.
Yep.
They don't give a shit. Like they don't care. I mean,
Mhm.
people who live around like us, we live right near the Tesla's lab.
Yeah.
Like the original.
Nobody even knows it's there.
Nobody not only knows it's there, but people I've told who have Teslas, or I've told them about it, they don't care at all.
They don't care. They're not interested in
Because they don't care about where it comes from. They only care about Elon Musk.
Well, that's why Elon Musk's involvement in the company is a reason for them having such a strong stock value. It's because he's involved.
There are other electric car companies, other ones that are. I mean, they are really fast, but there's one that's. It's ever so slightly faster. I think it's more expensive.
They're also not considered a car company according to themselves. They're like a technology company, which is true. But
this Lucid Air Sapphire, those are so much cooler.
They're
a lot more expensive though.
Vinny's Tesla, someone tried to steal it.
Someone tried to hack it.
Can you explain that?
Someone tried to hack it, and I think they didn't quite get it because like they notified him of like a fraud.
Well, but they tried to hack the car to use the
Someone
self-driving
in, like, Louisiana
technology
or whatever tried to hack it and have it drive itself to him.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to exchange it for a Model S instead.
What, when they got the car?
Yeah, that was the plan. Like to take the car and swap it for a better one.
How do you know that they were going to do that?
I don't know. I don't know how he knew that part, but
swap it for a Model S. I don't mind the Model S.
It's the best looking one for sure.
It looks like a sleek. I don't know if they make them anymore. Do they?
Yeah, they do.
It is nice looking, kind of, but I'm just not that into Teslas at all.
I mean, I like cars. I'm not that like neither of us are mechanically inclined, but we just like appreciate the designs. But I just think like Teslas are just bland in every respect, like in every sense of the word, boring.
I prefer
electric cars don't have to suck.
Yeah, I prefer like the look of a car and the kind of the
I like the style. I like
style, and I also like the name recognition. That does matter.
I like the name.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool. I mean, I like the car. Like my car right now is the Jeep Wrangler, and I've kitted it out, and I love that car so much. Like people say cars don't make you happy. That car makes me happy.
Who said cars don't make you happy?
Well, here's the thing. If you don't love
Someone
the
who doesn't
car,
have a car,
well, I love the car, and it's about the car, and it's just everything. It makes me happy. It's literally my favorite physical possession is my Jeep Wrangler. I'm always going to need a car like that.
I've read things where people are like, oh, it's, with a car, it's like how it makes you feel, like the experience of using it. It's not all just about how fast it can go.
Yeah. Now
that's what Teslas just don't have.
I can also see that being the case that with like a sports car, if I had like a Ferrari or a Lambo,
yeah.
I would. It's just a vibe. My favorite thing to do. I do it every day of my life to some degree or another. Go out to my car, especially in the summer, take the doors off or put the roof down or the windows down, put on my favorite music, and I drive around. So cars are important to me because I love to do
same,
that.
Not as much, but like same with like my BMW convertible, and you just cruise in it, and it's fun, and it's really not that fast, but it's just
hobby.
Fun.
Every day I do it so much. It's like an hour thing. It's a stress reliever. So I do like cars, and they are important to me. Some people just don't care for them.
A lot of people will view a car. I feel like honestly, most car buyers, and you could depend. I mean, you can tell by what they're buying. They view a car no different than a washing machine. It's an appliance.
Yeah. So if you're like someone like that who's like, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini and it's going to make me my life. Like, no, you don't have an interest in the car.
You're not interested.
You're buying a car just because it's like
for that. Don't waste
I want
your money.
a Lambo.
Like you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can get one if you can afford it.
But if you love cars, then it has a different meaning.
Yeah, and there's a reason like car people are not interested in Teslas because they really don't have anything to offer that crowd.
I'm also not someone who like you'll have these people who talk about like how powerful the engine is in a car.
I don't care about
that. I don't give a shit. At
least for us, we're purely interested in
purely aesthetics,
really just the aesthetics,
just the looks, just the vibes.
I like the performance too. Like I want it to be fun to drive and fast, but does it really matter how big your engine is?
Not to me. The most relatable thing I saw about that was Justin Bieber was asked about his car. They're like, "What's the engine like?" He's like, "I don't really know. I just like the way it looks."
That was the i8 he was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, exactly how I feel.
He literally said, "He's like, I don't know. I got it because I like the way it looks."
Yep, that's exactly how it is.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. But also, I mean, it's sure, it's nice to know like, okay, a V12 sounds really cool, but at the same time, there are cars that have a 6-cylinder that are faster than a V12. And it's half the size. So what's really the point of having that massive thing in there when it's not actually making as much? I don't know. It's like a bragging right thing.
6-cylinder fast. Yeah. Well, it has to do with weight and stuff.
It's all weight distribution. It's kind of cool, but I never want to work on it ever because that just kind of ruins all the fun.
Yep. Well, the goal is to have the car and then be able to afford the maintenance on it.
Yeah.
Because to buy the car is one thing. If you well, hold on. Let's just buying a brand new sports car, or supercar is different than buying a pre-owned one. Now, a pre-owned one is affordable to buy in some cases if you prioritize your finances right. Because in reality, anyone making a decent salary who prioritizes their spending can get kind of their pick of. There's so many really nice cars you can get for under 60 grand or even under 100 grand or less that people would look at and they think you're balling, okay? But
Depreciation.
yeah, to buy them new though, first off, they're far more expensive new. They
Yeah,
lose
they
all
are.
their money, so I think that's a bad move for that in the first place because you're going to lose 20% right off the lot and another 30% the next year. So you lose half the value within a year for nothing at all. Is where if you bought that car a year old, you will that loss will have already been taken. But then maintenance to upkeep it,
Yeah, that's why
Like
I
imagine
think.
fixing a Ferrari, it's like $40 to fix. Even if it's pre-owned, the maintenance bill is going to be the same as the new car.
Yeah, it's about the
That's
same.
where like the catch-22 comes in.
Yeah, but then with like, I feel like one car that is really, really good for like just kind of checks every box is the Maserati MC20 Cello.
That's exactly how I feel because it's like got
Or Seal,
the
whatever you
crazy
say.
convertible, the crazy doors. It's a hardtop convertible. That's important.
It
Hardtop
does
convertible,
everything: hardtop convertible, supercar, butterfly doors,
butterfly doors,
and when it
and
first
it's got like
came
a
out,
sporty look.
yeah, it's got a super look.
And McLarens check the box too, except their interior is a little.
Their interior is a little lacking,
But McLarens, I think, check the box and they're cheaper. So
but the reason
first.
that I would say the MC20 takes the place almost because Maserati maintenance is so much less than McLaren maintenance.
Really, because you can get a
McLaren
570S
maintenance-
for like $120,000.
Yeah, but the maintenance is more when it comes to Maserati. It's only a little more than like a BMW or Mercedes.
Yeah.
And they're like, just looking at it, it's like freaking awesome looking. And it's right now they're extremely expensive, but they drop like half their value in like 3 years.
The other,
They've already like their value plummets.
the other thing is like I'd be able to
Sucks for the person who bought them brand new,
at
but
some point in the future buy one of these cars. But then if something went wrong with it, it would just become a paperweight in my driveway.
Well, no, you have
I
to-
couldn't afford to fix it.
well, the point is with the Maserati, like I'm thinking towards the future, like picking a car that's like with the outright cost is depreciated enough
Yeah.
so you can afford it. But then I think towards the future, I need to know that I can afford the repairs on this thing. So get a warranty. You can buy a warranty for any car.
People
It's like
always
$5,000. Like it's a lot up front, but then it pays for itself in like one visit to the dealership.
You know what's crazy though? Everybody's always says like, particularly with my Jeep, their big thing is, oh, don't to get a car like that has more. It's like not practical is the word, and
Your car is practical.
it is, but it's got its problems.
SUV.
Like it's got runs through tires quick. Tires are expensive. It's expensive to maintain the wheels of the tires.
Yours is only somewhat
takes
impractical
wear.
because it's got a roof.
The roof
that
leaks
kind of
though.
sucks, and the tires are massive.
The roof leaks. It gets cold. It's loud. It does have its flaws, right? But I honestly think it's all worth it for this few months in the summer where I take the doors and roof off.
And you move somewhere warm where it's warm all the time. You don't need
Yeah.
to wait for half the year. You have it all the time.
But I would never be the one who doesn't buy a nice car because it's not practical.
Fuck practical.
As long as it's like checks like the boxes I need, it's like fuck practical. It's like I'd rather have a Ferrari that breaks down every now and then, but it's a fucking Ferrari than a Prius that's reliable and
But
boring.
when people say practical, they mean things like, oh, it doesn't have enough seats or luggage space, or I don't care about that shit. Like I want reliability is a major thing. You want that. But the supercars, they're not notoriously unreliable. They work. They're just
They're not.
expensive.
That's like a stigma too. Some of them are
Okay,
great,
yeah,
though,
maybe
but-
some, but most of them are pretty reliable. I mean, no one would buy them if they didn't work. They're just expensive to fix. But I feel like things like the amount of seats, like the coolest cars in the world only seat 2 people for the most part.
Yeah. Well, also there's also this thing where people, for some reason, like if you're 20 something and you can afford or you have the ability to like get a nice car, like you should
Get it.
You should get it. You should
Don't wait till you're 50.
because there's all
Get
these
it.
people who are like, oh well, like I feel like so many people create boundaries and barriers for themselves that don't exist. Like, oh well, I need something practical. Why do you need something practical? You,
gotta
don't have
think,
kids.
Define,
You don't have
define
kids.
practicality.
You don't need
What
practical.
in your life. Okay, you're a single guy
Get a sports
with your
car.
own apartment or whatever, like thinking, you say practicality, like, oh, I need practicality. But what is practicality for you in your stage in life?
You don't have kids.
Do you have a wife? Do you have kids? Do you have a dog? Do you have kids who go to lacrosse, football practice, whatever, with tons of equipment you need to throw in the car? Do you go shopping for massive amounts of shit? I mean, you don't need that stuff. Or do you plan on taking it in an off-roading trail? Like, if the answer is no to all of those, which are very well could be.
Yeah, if you're really
Then
about it, I think
it's totally practical. Practicality is subjective.
exactly.
Someone who's got 3 kids and they each do a different sport and you like to go off-roading, and sure, then it's not practical for that person.
Yeah, but like the people who I hear that excuse from,
They're just
they're
I don't know,
they're clueless, and
They're
maybe they're just
clueless.
like stuck in the
They have these arbitrary
Yeah.
barriers they put up, and they don't even understand why.
exactly. I see that all the time. I don't get it.
Someone who might buy a pickup truck, I mean, if you love pickup trucks, that's fine. But if you're buying it because you feel like you need practicality, for one, that's not that practical. It's expensive on gas.
Listen, I don't know a single person who has a pickup truck, of
Who
course,
really needs it.
who actually needs it. Like they
The
all work
only-
office jobs. Like they,
Yeah, if you
they don't
sure if
use
you
the
love
truck.
pickup trucks, then sure, buy one. But if you're buying it because you feel you need this massive bed and 4-wheel drive, and when it snows like 3 times a year, you don't need this shit. Like,
I think people should buy the car that they like, that they can afford. It's also stupid to go into debt for a car, but
as
yeah.
long as you, I would plan on just try to put down as much of it as you can, and then finance it, obviously, for the rest.
I don't get the people who are like, who just have no interest in cars at all.
I never used
'Cause
to
then
until, honestly, I got my first one.
Who have no interest in cars?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I didn't care about cars until
Oh.
high school, honestly.
Well, yeah, when you get one, but no, but I'm saying like, I have friends who, they'll go out, they'll get a new car, it'll cost them 20 grand, 17 grand, they'll buy it, they'll finance it, whatever. But it's just like the most average car. It's like that 20 grand, you could have really gotten
Could have gotten
pretty much any car.
Not
Any,
any, but
well, obviously not a
wide
Bugatti, but
selection.
you could have pretty much gotten any type of car.
No,
Yes,
but a whole
you
lot.
could.
You couldn't get a Lamborghini.
All right, Harrison, with exceptions. Of course, you can't get a Lamborghini. I'm saying realistically,
I'm talking like there are many Mercedes, Audis, Beamers, Maseratis you could get.
pretty much any type of BMW, you
Yeah,
could find
pretty
one
sure.
like that. You could find any SUV with like, except for a G-Wagon. You could find a lot of sports. You could get certain older Maseratis that are cool and they're sporty. Granted, they probably break down a lot. You know,
Yeah.
There's also the other trap that people fall into, which is buying like 2009 like Bentleys and shit like
At
that.
that point, it's
It's at that point
not
it's like
worth
15
it.
years old. It's gonna be like 15 years old.
Yeah.
It's probably shot, and it's gonna be way more expensive to maintain. So it's probably not
worth
it.
getting the one. And plus,
And it looks old at
they
this
don't
point.
look as good.
It looks old at this point. 6 years ago, like a 2010 Bentley, it was like, okay, it still kind of looks relevant now. It's so far outdated that it just
Though my
wouldn't even do it.
favorite like Bentley now, they're taking the Continental and they're kind of like
making it too exotic.
no, less exotic. I feel.
Really?
It doesn't look like a Bentley anymore. That's what I thought with the new
Yeah,
generation.
yeah, it doesn't. It's more exotic.
And now the newest.
Did I say less exotic or more exotic?
You said more. No,
Yeah,
I
more
thought-
exotic. It looks
no, I
more
thought-
like a sports car.
But it doesn't have that Bentley look. Like even on the Continental.
It's getting lowered and wider.
Well, no, that's a good thing. But I'm saying it doesn't have those round 4 headlights in the front.
Well, most cars don't have like the round lights are going out now. It's more of like an oval shape, I think.
I mean, no, but they're not totally round. They are a little oval. But if you compare them, like I think the best looking Continental was the 2018
Mhm.
one. I don't know if there was a 2019.
I like the newer one. The newer G-Wagon's kind of growing on me.
I prefer the newer one. I like that.
Well, I
like
prefer.
that
I
look.
wish they didn't make the newer one because it makes the older ones look older.
They're always going to make new
But
cars.
you can get an older G-Wagon for like, what is it?
I mean, if you've got 80
You can
grand
get
to
like
spend-
2002, and it could look like a 2015 if you just put a body kit on it, a little bit of work. They didn't change the look at all for like 20 years.
The way I view it is that I feel like in people's lives, they spend the 2 most expensive purchases are typically, for most expensive would be their house and then their car,
Yeah.
usually. So
Or
I think,
divorce. Or divorce.
So I think if it's something you're going to put so much money towards, you worked and put plenty of time in to get your money, how could you put it towards something you don't love?
Well, because they purely view it as like a means of transportation. Same with houses. They like I see people. This is gonna sound bad. Hey, look, buying a house, huge goal. It's great when people do it, but I sometimes see people buy boring ass looking houses.
I mean, if that's what they want. A house, I'm not too knowledgeable on how to,
Well, I guess it doesn't matter with a house because it goes up in
houses
value.
don't depreciate,
Yeah, but
right? They appreciate. They
No,
appreciate. Right?
mostly, yeah.
That's the difference. Cars depreciate. Houses are an appreciating
Well,
asset.
it's depreciating. One's an
Cars
investment.
are depreciating.
One could
asset.
be an investment.
Certain cars can. Honestly, Ferraris are usually appreciating.
Well, I wouldn't. I think
That's-
it's risky though to buy a Ferrari as an investment. Although I will say, years ago I used to look at Testarossas and they were like 50 grand. They were like the Ferrari that no one wanted. Now they're like 150. And I think the same thing will happen with California's. I don't know if there's a single Ferrari out there that hasn't at some point appreciated.
They almost all appreciate.
But I think it'd be foolish to, invest money as an investment. Like
well,
put that money into
you
real
don't
estate.
buy it as an investment. You buy it as a toy.
Yeah.
It's for fun. But
It's
if
also,
it happens to retain its value, which Ferraris usually do, like the 599 GT, I think, or whatever, that one is still worth a shitload of money, and it's like 12 or something years old.
It's also possible to buy a car, like to have like, okay, this is my 70 grand that I will keep in cars. And then you kind of just over the course of a few years, you buy a car, you sell it, or you lease, and you kind of have that money allocated to a car. And it's possible that you can make lateral moves from car to car, losing a little bit here, making a little bit there. Possible.
But the idea of leasing, I'm not a huge fan of. It's almost like it's not mine. It doesn't feel good.
It depends how much money do I have. If I'm super, super rich and I can afford to lease a car.
But leasing is cheaper. It's not a rich thing. I think it's something people do when they don't have enough money.
Well, I'm saying if I had so much, that's the only way I'd do it is if it's like renting. If I had so much money, I wouldn't mind pissing that money away.
It's a long term.
Because I think you are kind of pissing the money away. You don't keep the car.
Yeah, you don't get to any equity in a car, like it's going to depreciate. But with leasing, you don't get anything.
Well, you have to put the big thing is
you just get to drive it.
Yeah, but the miles, there's like a mile limit. My thing is it's pissing away money. I think leasing, so I'd rather not.
I don't like the idea with a car payment. You own it at the end. It's almost like leasing is to buying a car as renting is to a mortgage for your house.
Yeah.